snacks.
Go. How's everybody doing? Yeah. Hey, listen, who's here for the first time at Ocean City Comic Con? Oh, wow. All of the people. Well, thank you.
All the people.
This is pretty serious for a second-year outing, don't you think? Yeah? Okay. So, one more time by show of hands, who in the room is a geek? Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are, because look where you are. Well, we're all geeks, too. And I know that what it says is that this is about the definition of a geek. And in a lot of ways, this is a panel about the definition of a geek. But it's also a panel about being comfortable being a geek. So, first and foremost, I go by Gage. That's not my birth name, but that's what I go by. So feel free to call me Gage. This is Sin. That's New Joker, who we call Jokes. And then that's Coop on the end. They like Coop, wave high. Wave high, yeah. To all the lovely people. And you all are all the lovely people. So give yourselves a round of applause for coming, first and foremost. Thank you. So we have a YouTube channel called Loading Snacks and a podcast, and we have all been geeks for our entire lives. And just not everybody always knew it. And so this is a little bit of a discussion about what our journeys have been like, right, gentlemen? In getting to the point where we are now, and then kind of getting comfortable with where we are. And then we're going to talk to you guys, because we want to know about you all and how you feel and how long you've been geeks. Probably your whole lives, right? Yeah. It's usually that way, right? So, Sin, I'm going to start with you. Okay. Do you want to slide him the microphone? Mic check. 1, 2.
Mic check, mic check.
Oh, yeah. There you are. Y'all can hear him, right? Yeah. So, Sin, I want to start with you. Tell us a little bit about, when did you first know you were a geek?
A very long time ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, like in other words, like you don't want to say the date or like the year or tell people your age.
I don't know
okay.
the date, year, but it was at a young age.
Like elementary school.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Playground, like what? Like what was it that? How did you know?
When other kids want to go outside and play sports, no, I'm gonna sit here and read comic books and play video games and stuff like that.
Okay. I mean, that's fair sometimes. Was that ever an issue for you?
More so when school came, not in the neighborhood, but more so when you started going to school, and hanging out with other kids and all that kind of stuff. And they want to do that stuff, but I'm supposedly like the weird one who wants to sit and read X-Men. Like, y'all not reading this? You don't see how good this is?
Right, you were weird for that.
Yeah, why am I off?
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much where it started.
Is there anybody who can identify with something like that a little bit? Yeah. Okay. I don't want to talk to you right now. I want to talk to Jokes. So, yeah, he's done.
Good time's over.
What about you, Jokes? You're younger than I am.
Just a little bit.
A lot of it. And your time in geekdom is a little bit different from mine. Like some of your fandoms are different from what mine are. But for you, when did you know you were a geek?
I would say same, just like Sensei. Elementary school.
Okay.
Like as a kid, my difference was, going out in the field, everyone playing sports and everything. I had a Game Boy. I was playing Pokemon.
Okay.
That was my thing, playing Pokemon, talking Power Rangers. So I probably just gave you a little idea how old I am.
So now,
OG Power Rangers.
with Power Rangers, was that how you got your physical activity? Like, did you go out and pretend that you had... Yes, were you a Ranger? Tell the truth. It's okay. We're my family here, right? So he can say it, right?
I'm about to keep it 100% real with you. Yes, I sure enough
You
did.
were a Ranger, sir.
Matter of fact, you were in school system.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you mean what, teaching? Yes.
When you were there.
Yes, I did do that.
We did the write-a book.
Yeah.
And I most certainly wrote a book of me being a Power Ranger.
Oh, about you, specifically.
Me being a Power Ranger.
Listen, I would love to hear that story. not now, but I do want to hear that story. Let me ask you, when did you become okay with it?
For me, I was really always okay with it. Like,
okay.
Even though, say for a lot of others may not have necessarily wanted to join in with it, that was what I enjoyed.
Right.
So it kind of was, same thing. Oh, the kids just over there playing Pokemon. But it started, I noticed a little bit of a trend where I saw a few others come out that was like, oh, you play Pokemon? I got a link cable.
Let's hook up.
Let's hook up.
Link up. Yeah, that's
cable.
old. Link cable.
There was no Wi-Fi. It was link cable.
You have been a geek for a long time. Yes, sir. Yeah.
But it was, like, I was always fine. The thing was, me is being me.
Sure.
So I wasn't trying to impress anybody.
Right.
If what I enjoyed was different from everybody, I was perfectly fine with that.
Were you picked on?
Time and time, I wouldn't say, I was like the go-to pick on because
Right.
I like, but it was like, oh, you're over there playing Pokemon, you should be over here on the jungle gym doing flips and stuff. I'm like, nah, man, go ahead and break your leg. I'm gonna play Pokemon.
Right. By all means, go get hurt. All right, let's talk to Coop for a second.
Coop?
Just for a moment.
Just a little bit, right?
Just a little bit.
Not too much.
Coop, say hi. You got the radio voice.
Hello, everyone.
I lied.
That wasn't
It's not a radio voice. So what about you, Coop? When did you've been a geek your whole life?
Yeah, my whole life.
Okay. When did you get comfortable? Did you get comfortable? Are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable now.
Okay.
Ain't nobody tell me nothing.
Okay,
But
okay.
it took a while. It did take a while. I was that guy that was like, I think this is cool, and I think everyone else think it should be cool as well. So let's do this cool thing that I think is cool.
Okay.
Together, but never one else.
You were a bully. You forced people to like what you
Yeah,
like.
I was the anti geek.
You were reverse
Yeah.
reverse engineering.
Reverse bully,
the geek. I dig it. How old would you say you were when you realized that you were different? like
When I was different,
Yeah.
I would definitely say around 10.
10.
Yeah.
Why at that age? It's what, like 5th grade?
Yeah, I know. I remember I had a birthday cake, and I wanted a certain Power Ranger on the birthday cake.
Here we go with these Power Rangers again. Okay.
I mean, you know what it is, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted the Green Ranger on my birthday cake.
Okay.
Right? But
Fail.
then then the guy on the phone was like, all right, cool. But they gave me the Blue Ranger and just painted him green. And I was like, you ain't about to fool me.
I know.
I know his weapons.
That's Billy.
You know what I'm saying?
Like-
That's Billy. Billy stands like this. I'm not, no. I wasn't, yeah.
That's pretty official.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the moment.
Okay, that was the moment. Like later on in life, I look back at that, I was like, yo, I knew what that was. You know, like
Yeah.
before it was a thing. Most kids could be fooled by that. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I need my details.
So you know what? For me, right? I think it was middle school, high school, probably, because I'm a shorter individual, and I've always looked younger than I am, and so I think I got away with playing with toys and reading comic books and things like that longer than probably most people who were the same age as I was could have gotten away with it, and so. In certain circles, when I hit probably 8th grade, 9th grade, that was when it kind of became like, why are you doing that? Why do you still, I mean, I wasn't playing with toys, I was collecting them. Just so you know, I was collecting. So I think it was more around high school. And here's the thing that's kind of funny to me is that personally, I was into a lot of the same things that other kids were into. I was into sports. I liked basketball and football, and I wasn't a big soccer guy, but, and I liked cars, Lamborghinis on the wall, all that kind of stuff. Like, I was that guy, too. And at some point, somebody said something to me about, like, me being a geek because I knew so much about Spider-Man, who is the best comic book character ever created. Fight me.
Sorry.
And I was like, yeah, but you know all Michael Jordan's stats from high school. Like, when he was a child. Why do you know that? You're a geek. You're just a sports geek, right? And it kind of started to dawn on me that, like, for some reason, the things that we like, we got pigeonholed into being called geeks or nerds, not the same thing, right? I don't think they're the same thing. But if you liked history, you got to be a history buff. Or you were a sports buff / enthusiast, right? But if you liked comic books or video games or Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, you were a geek. And I don't know if it's because it's fantasy, like people say, that's not real, right? But to me, it's about like a knowledge base, like you're really, really into something. And I think if you can geek out about it, sports, cars, I don't know what my carburetor does. I know it does something. I just don't know what. There are people for that. I'm not that guy. So I learned it was kind of the same thing, and I think that's where I started to develop being comfortable about it. Like being able to actually defend what I loved in a way that I think didn't take away from somebody else. Because a lot of times we end up in a battle, and it's like what I like is better than what you like or what have you. Would y'all kind of agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys have similar stories where you kind of came to a place where it was kind of like, oh no, this is just like anything else? Like,
Probably around the time.
you need a microphone, sir.
Let me get that, please. Thank you. It's probably around the time me and you became friends and started hanging out.
A long time ago.
Yes.
A long time
We're
ago.
the older ones here. Just having somebody else kind of like me, where I felt like I was in a weird space where, like the quote unquote cool kids, I'm not into sports, so I didn't care about that. So I'd be weird for not caring about that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But when they want to talk about music and all that kind of stuff, like we can go toe to toe.
Right.
All day. But then when I switched back over to comic books and games, it was weird. But we're like the same thing when it comes to that. So it was like meeting you and started hanging out with you and stuff like that. I started to feel like, okay, this isn't just me. Like,
Yeah, but see, you were also a band geek.
yes.
Right? Like
Yeah.
because that's also a thing that kind of like
It
in
is,
high
it
school,
is.
like if you were in like the marching band,
which
I was,
Yes.
and you were.
Yes, we were.
And you were, right? But like we know music, like all the popular stuff, whatever,
Yeah.
we still know it. Now, you didn't play instruments. You, first of all, that's a lie. If you ever hear him play a triangle, you will know. Always late. Now, Coop, ding, so it's always just a little late. But I would agree with that kind of those moments
Yeah.
together. How many of you out here would say that you have parents that were geeks? So a few of you who are a little younger, some of you who are a little older, way back. I think like my dad was really into Star Trek. And I think that was a thing that was sort of a catalyst for me. Like I had to watch Star Trek. There was no, oh yeah, right. I had to watch Star Trek, and they took me to see Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back
Sweet.
in the theater.
Oh, I did too. Yeah.
Got some age on me.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And
I was in the theater.
but okay, so for those of you whose parents were not geeks, do you feel like they were supportive of you maybe being geeks or something like that? Yeah? Yes, no? Yes?
I say yes because she the one who took me to the movie.
Okay.
See the cartoon
Yeah, until you were how old though? Like like at
when she took me.
yeah.
We went together.
Okay. Right.
Now
Okay. Till now.
and now.
Oh, and still. Yeah. Okay. What about the rest of you? Were your parents supportive or no? Did you feel like you were in it alone at school and at home? Yeah, some of you?
They weren't super against it, but they weren't like super supportive. Like it's kind of you got too into it, they'd be a little like,
Do you feel like your parents maybe thought you were weird the way people at school thought maybe you were weird or something like that?
they still love me.
Sure. Do you think that was an age thing? Like, I think I got to a point where I think there was a moment where my parents felt like I should have aged out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, it might be time to hang up the He-Man.
Stop bringing up old stuff.
But I love it, sir. Yeah, is that a thing for some of you? You feel like you maybe aged out of it, or they thought you should have aged out of it? Why haven't you aged out of it?
Because it's awesome.
Because you just
I
Okay.
I was told, oh, no, you can't do that. You got to do sports. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, go play basketball. It was always something else I had to do. Learn cooking, learn sewing, go to piano. It was always something else I had to do. It couldn't be what I wanted to do.
Ah.
So I have to wait to enjoy it.
It was pleasing someone else, though. Okay. Anybody else feel like, oh, well, did you just have to do it? Like, did you just feel compelled? Did you have good friends that maybe, is that the reason why you stayed in it? You had good friends? You guys have good friends? You guys are good friends? Yeah? I mean, I think that's important, too.
It is.
I've met a lot of people, like, through, like, the fandoms and stuff that I'm in.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason why I stayed with it. Like, I had friends that went from talking online where we were meeting up at, like, conventions and stuff. So
Yeah.
that was definitely a big draw.
You bring up conventions. Conventions is eye-opening for me because I've been going to conventions for probably 10 years now, and conventions always feel very welcoming. Like, no matter what your fandom is, your shape, your size, your color, like, they always just feel welcoming. And still, I'm always surprised. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's everything outside of conventions, right? But whenever I'm at a convention, I feel like, oh, I'm home, though.
Yeah.
Like, these are, even though I don't like your fandom, you're still my people, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. What about you guys? What do you think? Have conventions changed for you since we started going to conventions?
I would definitely say yes. Now, like, say from the first convention that I ever went to, now this was when I was a kid, my mom actually took me,
Yeah.
was actually a Star Trek convention.
Okay.
So, as a kid,
Yeah. Yeah.
so as a kid, you know, it was, only thing I saw as a kid was just like, oh, there's Worf, oh, there's Captain
Right.
Kirk. Like, that was all that I saw. But as getting older, you know, I realized, you know, there were people at that time, I would say, like, that were in my age range that were cosplaying and doing all this, but I had no idea what was going on at the time.
Yeah.
Fast forward to now, I would say as a teenager, young adult, my first convention that I can fully remember was actually Richmond, Wizard World Richmond.
Okay.
That was my first one. And that was where I met Jason David Frank for the first time. So
Another Power Ranger thing.
another
All
Power
right.
Ranger thing.
All right.
So needless to say, 5, 6-year-old me that never went away just absolutely
He came back.
came back.
Yeah.
But there's been times where, kind of where you were talking about the age out thing of where I kind of phased out of certain things
Yeah.
and then came back to them.
Okay.
So I was kind of the person that teetered on both sides. I did play basketball when I was in between middle and high school in the beginning part.
It's a tall people thing.
You're right.
I don't have that.
You're 100%
I
right.
didn't have that. I didn't have that at all.
But then, as much as I enjoyed it, it didn't always seem like me.
Okay.
Then I picked up a trumpet.
And
That's
found
history.
life. Yeah.
That's history.
That's real.
But I would say going to conventions, it's opened up and it's given me a new perspective.
Yeah.
Definitely being respectful, acknowledging different fandoms, different things that are out there like it, being accepting. Because that was a thing a lot of people, you know, wouldn't accept you necessarily. I was happy that I have a mom that introduced me a little bit into being a geek.
Yeah.
Same thing. Star Trek and Star Wars was pretty much.
That was her thing.
That was her thing.
Okay. Okay.
And then I opened up her to a whole nother world of the whole entire,
all of this.
all of this.
All of this.
And
Yeah.
she's lost it.
I dig it. Coop, I have a question for you. You've been going to cons with us for a while.
Yes.
You have a heavy geekdom. What's your favorite fandom? That's a tough question.
Can I say movies? I mean,
Sure.
yeah, movies.
Just movies as a whole.
Yeah,
Any kind of movie.
just movies in general.
Are you a movie buff or a movie geek?
I am.
Same thing?
I'm a movie enthusiast. I'm a movie geek.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big
SAT words.
Big
No,
words.
it's not an SAT word. It's not an SAT. Tap jazz ballet. My parents. Same thing, and that's a fandom in itself, right? Like playing characters. Where are you in Peter Pan? What part did you play? I like. What did you say?
He said,
Did you say
yes,
R?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I was gonna let that just go, but okay.
All right. Well said. Well said. Yes, sir.
That's fine.
I feel like as a culture, the geekdom has evolved a little bit.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like, you had to go to the store and, like, hide that you were a comic book nerd.
Sure.
Now you can be like, whoa, you're into comic books too?
Yeah.
Too, and coming to conventions and, like, nerds have taken over pretty much.
I agree.
Geeks run the world.
I agree. I think that part of what's happened, right, is that people who were my age, who love the things I loved, now are the people putting out that content,
Yep.
right? And they're creating that content for people who are our age and older, and they're creating it for their own children. Like, my kids are into all of the things I'm into and their own stuff. Like, I'm not a Twilight guy, though I have seen them all. I'm not saying they're not good. It's just not it's not how I like my vampires. Okay? That all right? Is that okay? But yeah, like now that I think people who are closer in age to where I am are the ones who are creating and putting the content out, right? And that we're starting to see like these really great movies and they kind of hit the mainstream. Like when I was a kid, it was hard to find a shirt with Spider-Man on it. Now you almost can't go anywhere without seeing a shirt that has Spider-Man on it. And I will admit that there was a moment where I was like, everybody needs to back up off my man. I see little kids with shirts that I think are really cool, but they don't fit me.
You sure?
I've tried. I'm positive. Positive. You know I have shoes from Stride Right. They don't fit me. They're just there. It's a sickness. And so, yes. Yes. Anybody ever stand in front of the mirror and say Candyman?
Hell
Scared? You scared? Good. 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 Yeah. Like I've seen it. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I think now it's easier to be comfortable being a geek because you couldn't wear that before. Like stand-ups for me, sir. No, I said stand up. No. Yeah. You wouldn't have been able. One, you wouldn't have been able to find that, and two, you wouldn't have been able to wear it. I bet. But the internet said, here it is. Right. So have you all found that it's easier now to be a geek? To be like, can you, like, how old are you guys here?
15, 16.
15, 16. Is it easier for you guys? I think it might be easier for you guys at school than it was for us. Maybe?
No, we didn't have class, no. Yeah.
No.
Our school hates us.
Really?
Are you serious?
Why?
Hates anime.
Dude,
Oh, they all suck.
So I just, okay. Now, wait a minute. They might be saying they hate anime. See, here's one of the things that I learned, right? When I got old enough to start going to conventions on my own, right, I started running into people that I went to high school with, who I'm positive when we were in high school would have made fun of me.
Yep.
Like, I'm positive. However, turns out, the whole time we were in high school, they were collecting comic books and going to movies, and like they had their own group of friends, maybe that weren't even at our school, right, that went somewhere else, but they liked a lot of the same things I liked, and at the time, it wasn't necessarily okay, or you couldn't be comfortable bringing it up and talking about it. You didn't have shirts that said it. What kind of, we had champion shirts, what do we do? I don't, Hugo Boss. You couldn't, like a Fortnite shirt, like that, you couldn't do that. Like there weren't video game shirts and hats.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there weren't ways to profess, like you guys have awesome shirts. Right? Zelda and Totoro. What are you wearing? What is that? Ah, which is, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the best. The other thing, though, is sometimes they're afraid, right? Because they're not used to it. And maybe they're afraid that people might treat them the way they might treat you, kind of. So how do you guys get through it? What do you do? Is it that you have your good group of friends, and that's...
Yeah, we definitely stay together. There are some kids, when we wear anime shirts, they're like, what the heck is that?
Sure.
And then we have to explain it.
No, they just say loser.
Do you feel weird trying to explain it?
Sometimes, but
I
when
just laugh. I laugh at it.
Are you laughing because they don't know?
it's a bit of an awkward.
Ah, okay. I mean, you're getting through it. High school's almost over. And when it's over, you'll run the world. It's fine. It's fine. So listen, we got a couple cosplayers that snuck in. I like Raven. Hi, Raven. How are you? What made you decide to dress up today? To cosplay today? You're not dressed up. You're cosplaying. Why'd you do that? All the time. Anytime, anywhere. How often do you go to conventions?
At least once a year.
Okay. When did you get comfortable being, okay, can you just, I was talking to the young lady, and you just kind of, like you just, you know what I mean? You just, yeah, like when, so how long have you been going to cons?
For the last like 6
6
years.
years. Yeah, were you into this kind of stuff before you started coming to cons?
Yeah.
Okay. Your first con, did you cosplay?
I didn't cosplay the first day.
Okay.
There was a like weekend con because like I'm into anime, but like I didn't really see that many black girls cosplay.
Sure.
So
Right.
I was like, I don't want to jump into something I'm not sure about.
Right.
Like the first day I did like a t-shirt and some pants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a lot of people cosplaying.
Yeah.
So then I took out the one I made and I did it the next day.
Awesome. Good reception? Yeah.
I had so many. I was like, oh my gosh, people are take my fucking
That's awesome. So when you're not at a convention, when you're not cosplaying, do people like outside of that circle, do they know that you come to conventions and that you cosplay?
now that I have like an Instagram,
Yeah.
like post all my cosplay.
Yeah.
So like a lot more people are like, oh wow, you cosplay? I cosplay too. Oh wow.
Yeah.
We're into anime. I'm like, 4 years of high school, and now you're asking.
Well,
Right,
but I
right.
mean, again, that's kind of the same thing, right? So all through high school, nobody asked. They maybe were into it, but for whatever reason, you never made that connection.
Yeah, now
Lost
you can hear it.
connections
Yeah.
on Craigslist. Lost connections. So what about? I'm sorry. Was that okay? So for me, like cosplay is not a thing, okay? But I will wear a shirt that looks like I'm Spider-Man because I've been him since I was 4. I have a onesie. I know you know I do.
He has everything that is Spider-Man.
I know you know I do. Man, I wear it in public.
I know you do.
Because I don't. But like now, I can wear a hat. And before I couldn't do that, right? So the other day, tell them what happened to us at the pizza place last night. We went, I'll let him tell it. You tell the story.
Okay, so we're in a pizza place, and this guy just randomly comes up, and he was like, he did. I will say, it was a really nice Spider-Man hoodie. Was it a hoodie sweater?
Yeah.
Yeah, hoodie sweater. So it would look really nice, and then the guy walked over. He was like, "Oh, I love that hat," and then he literally walked up to his hat and was like, "Oh, it's all."
He
That's a nice
touched
hat."
my property without asking.
No, he didn't take it off. Like I'm not
No,
saying
he
he took it off
didn't.
his
No,
head.
but he got a little close.
And he was like, "Oh, that's a nice hat. Where'd you get it from?" And he couldn't answer because he has tons of Spider-Man hats. And
It's true.
Even the hoodie, he was like, "This is a nice material. It's really nice." It was just
Like
really
I said,
into it.
cosplay is not consent, and he was touching my clothes. Like he was touching my
Yeah,
clothes.
he was definitely really into
cool.
everything that Spider-Man you had. And then we thought he was going to here. No. He had nothing to do with the convention at all. He was talking Captain Marvel, movies, Spider-Man,
Right.
and we're like, "Oh, so you're coming to the convention?" He was like, "Nah." Actually, truthfully, his answer was like, "No, I'm just staying here because I'm too drunk to drive home." Okay. All right.
Good for him, right?
Good for you.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think moments like that, right? Because like now we can wear it proudly. Like we have things now that allow us like out in the outside of a convention world to display like who we are and what we love and what we like. And that stuff always existed for other fandoms. Like if you were a sports fan, there's always been jerseys or hats or socks or starter jackets. If you didn't have a starter jacket when you were in middle school, I mean, when I was in middle school, you were.
Interesting that it's extended past just like merch because like I have tattoos.
Sure.
Like I have a Captain America tattoo and I have like a Supernatural tattoo.
Yeah.
That's always
Yeah, tattoos are not consent either. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's not. You can, sure. And that allows you, though. Like, it's almost like a beacon, right? Like, for a while, like, I can remember when clothes first started to really hit, and I'd be walking down the street, or like, does anybody do, like, Loot Crate or any of that kind of stuff? When I see somebody with a Loot Crate shirt, I'm like, yo, you're a Loot Crate dude like me. Like,
Convention, I went to a Wizard World in Philly.
Mhm.
I was actually there to meet Sebastian Stan.
awesome.
And I was in line.
Did you fangirl?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Okay.
I was like,
Okay. Did you cry? Like,
No, I didn't cry.
a good girl. Good job. That's okay.
But I was in his photo outline, and somebody saw, like, I don't know if somebody here watches the show Supernatural, but
Big fan.
I have the Annie Possession tattoo behind my ear here.
Wow.
One of the girls that I was in line with, she saw the tattoo, and I made a friend just standing there in line. We got talking about Supernatural, like
Right.
Supernatural conventions. I've been to Supernatural conventions.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think it's just the landscape has changed, right? Where now, if I see somebody, like for me, it's awesome that you're wearing a Legend of Zelda shirt, because to me, that's from when I was young, right? And to see that it's still a thing is super awesome to me. I feel like maybe that's how my father felt when he was like introducing me to Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up knowing I'm supposed to hate the Borg. Right? Like, we don't do that. We like Q, but we don't know why. When he shows up, I mean, the Next Generation was a thing. It was a thing. And I think I learned to be comfortable with all of the things that I like, right? So, even though I like anime, I'm not into it the way he is. We're still friends. It's weird.
I'm gonna get you there one day.
No. He's been trying for 20 years. Yes, sir.
I'm a CNA at a nursing home.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like Fridays we're allowed to wear like whatever shirt we want.
Yeah.
Put on like a Daredevil shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And this old 80-year-old man's like walking up. Is that Daredevil?
Yeah. It's awesome to be able to be outside of something like this, right? Or outside of your small circle of friends.
Yeah.
And see other people and like know that like, oh, okay, right? And I watched other people do it for years. Like right now, it drives me nuts. He's the wrestling guy, and everywhere we go, somebody walks up to him and does that too sweet thing. Do y'all know what that is? The too sweet thing. I don't like it's but it's a thing. It's like we'll be in the middle of having a conversation and somebody who we don't know will just walk up and be like, yeah, man, too sweet. What just happened? I respect it. I just don't like it. I don't like it. No, sir. No, sir, I will not. I will not. Wrestling hasn't been good since the year 2001. See? Thanks. So, okay. So, look, I'm super thankful that so many of you showed up here, that you're here. So now my question is, why did you come to this room today for this panel? Was it to get comfortable? Was it to find out what made us comfortable? Do you want to hear us actually define geek? Should we define geek? Do you have a definition of geek, Coop?
My definition is completely wrong. I know that for a fact, but it's something that I've always gone by.
Okay, I'm listening. They'll tell you if you're wrong or
Oh, I
not.
know I'm wrong. I know
Won't
I'm
you?
wrong. It was like if you were a nerd if you love Star Wars, and you were a geek if you like Star Trek.
Yeah, you're wrong.
What?
I knew that. I know that's wrong.
What?
I know that's wrong. I know that's completely wrong. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not a geek because I'm Star Wars all the way. Sorry, guys, but that's just me. I don't do Star Trek, but
Okay.
I get it. But I don't.
Right.
Yeah, you know what?
But that wasn't his generation.
It wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't.
I was somewhere long, far away in the galaxy. Yeah, that's where I was.
Yeah.
I
He
was
in a galaxy
that
far away.
generation.
It missed him. Okay, what about you, Jokes? What do you think the definition of a geek is?
So for a geek, I believe it's a hard one. nerd. We've had this conversation. So nerd and geek. Geek is like your. You like something and you have the knowledge behind it, whether it's Spider-Man, wrestling, Batman, anime, versus when you're a nerd, it's more of a book smart type thing. And it's like, hey, I've read every encyclopedia, but the same thing is kind of, well, tell me what's on page 20. It almost still sounds like it's a geek kind of at the same thing. And so that's kind of where that separation comes in at.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Sin?
I think it's you're a geek when you are passionate about a specific thing.
Anything.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as you're passionate about, like you said, that people are passionate about sports, cars. Like, I'm a One Piece geek all day long.
That's true.
Yes, very much so to the day
It's
I die.
annoying.
No, it's not.
To me, it's
It's
annoying.
great. It's great.
I appreciate it, though.
Okay. But yeah, and I agree. I think the difference between the two is nerd is I've always considered to be like when you're more like book smart, brainy smart, stuff like that, and geek has been you just geek out about comic books. You're passionate about it. You know about it. You're wrestling that type of stuff. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Who wants to tell me what they think the definition of geek is? Yes, sir.
Well, I think there's a difference with nerd. Nerd is more of an appreciation. Like I see the Spider-Man stuff and the comic book thing. I like it. I like being a part of it, but I couldn't really tell you that much about the lore. Or anything. Like I love your hat, but I probably wouldn't buy it myself.
Cool.
But geek is
I want it for me.
obsession about it. Like Joe's Fallout hat. I really like. I wanted everything about that. Because I have a real geek obsession with Fallout.
Dig it. Are you playing Fallout 76?
Yeah.
Are you upset about it?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right. We'll accept that. All right. We trust Bethesda. They're hometown
But
heroes.
I'll
for
wait
us.
for the update before I buy
I
it.
would wait for the update
Yes.
too. Okay. Anybody else who wants to give it a yes?
Nerds always just kind of like, I guess, kind of piggybacking on what Chris said, but nerds always felt like a more casual fan to me. Like, you know, if you're just kind of into something, then you like it.
Yeah.
If you're like, if you were to just casually go see like the Marvel movies or something, but if you were like a geek, you've seen all the movies, you can quote the movies, you've read comics, you know like every single detail or stat or whatever.
AKA, you're all in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Who else? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think. For me, right, growing up, nerd was like, movies like Revenge of the Nerds, there was a very specific, you were categorized as like, you only liked comic books, anime, and calculators.
And pocket protector.
Right? Like if you, like pocket protector, glasses with the tape on them,
Yep.
right? Like you were awkward and uncomfortable and not good in social settings at all. And those were the kind of people who specifically liked Star Wars or video games or comic books or whatever. And you were pushed into the same, I'm not a dumb guy. I think I'm pretty smart. I wouldn't consider myself a nerd, right?
Right.
I'm a geek through and through, though. Anything that you have a passion for, that you know everything about, that you love every detail of, right? So, yes, I was in an argument on Facebook with someone yesterday about the new Spider-Man suit. Oh, did they drop the trailer? Somebody check. And, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have to shut everything down for
Yeah,
that. What happened?
because it's the stealth suit in the movie, and like people are posting like, no, this is what the stealth suit. I know that's what the stealth suit looks like in the comic books. Of course I know. What are you doing? Don't do that. What did you find?
Nothing. Go ahead. Keep talking. Keep talking.
See? Yeah, check for me, please. They're holding out on me.
Okay, keep talking. Reportedly delayed. That's what it says.
Oh, all right. Well, you know, until after the con, and we can all watch it together. So yeah, like I think that the idea of a nerd, right? And some people, I think if you feel like you're a nerd, just like if you feel like you're a geek, take that. Accept it, run with it, be happy being it, right? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with being smart or really, really smart. I also don't think there's anything wrong with being socially awkward. Because I think in some way, shape, or form, everybody is, right? Some just display it differently. So, like, I talk a lot.
Okay.
And then, and eventually I got over it. But I've never been afraid in social settings. I don't mind talking to new people. I love meeting new people. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing?
All right, yourself?
I'm doing all right. Here I am. Everything's still working last time I checked. So I'm good. But I love being in a place where, like, even though I'm a Spider-Man fan, I can proudly say I'm in the House of Gryffindor. Are you a Slytherin?
Most likely. Mm-hmm. What? I'm evil.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Sam.
Gryffindor? Okay. Y'all know your houses? Hufflepuffs. See? See? You can pronounce it. You can state it. You can love it. Did you guys see the new Beast, the Fantastic Beasts?
Yes.
Was it bad?
No.
You loved it. Okay. I should see it. So now, I want to just open up to any questions anybody might have. Does anybody have questions for anybody here on the panel? You want to ask him about his Fallout hat? Feel free. You can ask him about his Fallout hat. You can ask him if he's willing to sell it to you. Or even give it away. Does anybody have questions?
Raven does.
Raven. I can't see Raven because,
once again, K is in the way.
My man in the way, K. Love you, K. My man.
This is just a cosplay thing question. So when you guys said earlier that you were just waiting for the right cosplay to come out, is it because you guys were more like hesitant to cosplay as like black men, or is it more just like I don't know character that would fit me on cosplay? Because my brother's kind of the same. Well, I love the cosplay. I love to jump into stuff. He's like, I'm a kind of heavy set black guy. I don't really know which costume would fit me.
Yeah.
I'm like, just be whatever.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know. So is it like that kind of version, or is it really just like, I've watched enough anime to know that's not
No, for me, it's just really figuring out who I want to jump out there as my first cosplay. I just haven't pinpointed down who yet.
Yeah.
And like Coop said, when I do it, I want to make sure that I, do it right. So it's just figuring out who's that's going to be and getting all the pieces together to pull it off. Like we've talked about doing like the Division.
Yeah, like characters from games, yeah.
Like just get the Nerf guns, paint them all black, all that kind of stuff. Get the nice little orange little light on it, something like that.
Yeah.
Something easy to do, but still kind of cool. It's just figuring out what that is for me. What about you?
I have already decided that my first cosplay will be Andre 3000 from the Hey Ya video. And I'm going to wear that thing out. You hear me? I'm going to have a Polaroid picture and a microphone. You shake it. Shake it, shake it.
Bring it to All-Star.
Something. I'm getting there. I just got to pull the pieces together and I'm in there. Sir?
For me, it's more of like, I just haven't taken time. Now, same just like Gage. I know what I want to do for and it's not Power Rangers. It's not Power Rangers. It's on the list.
You're lying. Didn't you buy a helmet specifically to fit your head?
I actually...
Like, seriously.
Yes.
So the answer to that question is yes.
My man.
And I'm still waiting for it to get shipped to me. But yes, I did order one specifically the size to fit my head.
My man.
But my first cosplay is going to be Arrow.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about the Stephen Amell and also the Diggle version of Arrow.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the two of them as they play Arrow. And that has just been the one that I want to do. For me, I'm going to buy it. I just don't have the time to sit and try to make it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know how to sew, stitch, none of that. I'm sure my girlfriend probably does, and she would help me, most definitely.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking at her now. She's not looking like...
You wouldn't help me, boo? You wouldn't help me? But Arrow is definitely the one that I'm looking to jump into first.
Yeah.
And I think it's just I've been buying so much other stuff that I just didn't buy. Because I've already looked on websites and everything. I've already done the sizing charts and all that type of stuff. I kind of just need to hit credit card information and hit submit.
Do it.
But then something else
after Christmas.
Something else comes out, and then I buy that, and I'm kind of like, oh, back burner.
Okay. I know that Coop wants to play like somebody from Beast Wars, and just nobody cares about that. So
if it's not Beast Wars, Hey, I'm pretty sure my man wants to dress up as Batman.
Nah, it's Optimus Primal or something terrible. I disagree. That's another
There is
thing I love
nothing
about
wrong with
comics.
Optimus. Dressing as Optimus Prime was a problem.
Sure.
But there's nothing wrong with him.
Okay, yeah.
I don't. It's rough because I'm. At first, it was Assassin's Creed. It didn't even matter. Probably Connor, if anything, because that was my favorite thing until Odyssey came out. But yeah, whatever. But I don't. I had to be careful. I have a son. If my son sees me dressed as any character and he's not involved, I'm in trouble with that.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So maybe the best bet might be Batman because he does consider himself Robin or Batman sometimes.
You know clearly you're Robin.
Yeah, he's
You are
made it clear.
clearly
He's
Robin.
made it clear that he is Batman, and sometimes I'm either Robin or Alfred.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Have you guys had the Kratos, Atreus conversation yet?
No, not yet. No.
There it is.
Hey, there you go. That's not
There
bad
it is.
actually. But recently, I found a cosplay that I really wanted to do, and it seems simple enough. If any of you have ever seen the horrible great show Big Mouth,
Horribly great
the
show.
horrible great show Big Mouth, the ghost of Duke Ellington. It is something that I've just wanted to do. I like going around doing the voice and just playing around and just. I think it's a hilarious thing.
Yeah.
That's the closest I've ever gotten. I was like, you know what, I can do this. But
I
other
dig it.
than that, it's I'm not really sure.
My kids tried to get me to be the I have 3 daughters, and they wanted me to be the professor so they could be the Powerpuff Girls. You see how cute that is? Yeah, but they're like 19 and 18 and 9. And so, no. No, not gonna happen. You know what? Again, I love Spider-Man. And I don't cosplay Spider-Man because I think one of the reasons why I love Spider-Man so much, and it took me a long time to figure this out, is because as a black man, as a young black child, like I think I identify with Spider-Man because he was like the only hero I could see, like you would normally see, that was completely covered, right? Like he covers his face. And so anybody could be Spider-Man. And I think growing up, I just felt like that could be me. Like I could be, nobody knows I'm not Peter Parker when I'm in here. Like I know it's Peter Parker, but like nobody really knows.
tons of
Like
Spider-Mans
there could be
downstairs.
Spider-Mans everywhere, and there are now, but like there weren't then. You know what I mean? And I just feel like, for me, the way that I show I don't show my love for the character that I love or for the fandoms that I have by dressing up as them. I show it by wearing hats like this or something. So I kind of feel like I cosplay in my own way. It's like a casual cosplay maybe to a certain extent. I think as long as I'm in a position where I can profess like how I feel about it. And I also like the idea of being able to do it every day, right? So like at work, I started, what do we do at work? Well, at work, it's Superhero T-shirt Thursdays.
Yeah.
Right? So like everybody at work now, and it didn't used to be a thing, but now it's a thing, right? Every Thursday, everybody comes in, everybody wears a superhero shirt, right? And there are people who like weren't into it, and they're like, man, I'm gonna go to Walmart. I saw they got shirts at like $7, and I'm gonna get me a shirt because I want to participate. You know what I mean? And it's a thing, and it's awesome to kind of be able to include people. And I think that's ultimately what I'm looking for, is to continue to do stuff like this that includes people and teaches people to include people. I think that's super important. Any other questions? Yes?
So Spider-Man question. Have you played the new game?
Yes. Smashed it. Platinumed it. My first platinum, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Thank you.
And what are your thoughts on Into the Spider-Verse?
So here's the thing. I have read reviews that say that Into the Spider-Verse is the best Marvel movie made this year. And that is major, considering Infinity War and Black Panther having come out this year. I will be honest, when the first trailers I saw, I was like, I don't know. But like by the third trailer, I was like, I might need to do this. Like Gwen is in it, Spider-Ham is in it.
I think it's really cool that like between that game and now the movie that Miles is getting a lot more focus.
Absolutely. I think that's a huge deal. And I think that's part of what they're doing, is I think they're using that movie to help introduce to people that there are a lot of Spider-Men. And I really think they're doing that partially so they can push Miles Morales.
They've already announced, I think, a spin-off for Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, yeah, and it's gonna be awesome. Spider Ghost, the Ghost Spider. I'm all about it. Like, I will wear a Spider-Gwen jacket. Go for it. Uh-huh.
Toby, or who's your favorite Spider-Man? Like, out of movies.
Oh,
Toby, Andrew, or Tom?
all right, so here's the thing. I like Tom a lot. I do. But Toby was the best. And here's why. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people complained about Toby. But the thing I loved about Toby as Spider-Man was that I felt he was the perfect Peter Parker. Toby played a Peter Parker that was like, that dude can't possibly be Spider-Man. Like Andrew Garfield played a character that was kind of like if you were close enough to him, you could figure it out. You know what I mean? But Toby, not that guy. There's no way. That dude can't do anything right. And that's the Peter Parker like that I grew up with, is like the more socially awkward kind of whatever, and like the idea of him continuing to play that role, I think it was awesome casting for the Spider-Man at that time, and so I like Toby. Now, I didn't like the Venom, but I like Toby. Yes, one of you had a question. Yes.
This is just kind of a video game question.
Okay.
Which console is your favorite?
Oh, I'm an Xbox guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
just-
okay. Everybody at the same time? Like on three?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Xbox.
We're Xbox guys. I'm not sure how that happened. It's just a thing. Yeah, I'm an Xbox guy. That didn't hurt you, did it? Is that okay? Okay, cool. Okay, just making sure. Would you just want me to say Switch?
No, it's okay. It's
Okay. Okay. All right. Have you guys played Smash?
I wanted to get it, and
Okay.
I didn't.
You know it's downstairs at the truck. They got a game truck downstairs. You can play it. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got it at the table. Like yeah. Any other questions? No, you're good. Cool. Well, listen. It's about time to wrap it up. Okay. I want to thank you all for coming. So let's give yourselves a round of applause. This has been really awesome. We certainly want you all to go out and enjoy the rest of what this con is. This con is going to continue to grow like this. Like, if compared to what it was last year in like a small hotel, like this is huge, and I'm so happy to see this happening this way. You guys can follow us on social media. We are at Loading Snacks. We don't make food. However,
Who said all? Someone else was like, oh.
listen,
There's no
somebody
snacks
asked us
here?
earlier, they were like, we thought you guys were the caterers.
Yeah, that was
Like, yeah, we're not. But a loading snack, just so you know, it is a snack that you can eat while you play video games that won't leave residue on your controller. And we like those kind of snacks. So we have a YouTube channel. We will post this on our YouTube channel so you guys can go and follow us there. We are also starting a Patreon, so you can go to Patreon and follow us there. Again, we want to thank you all. I'm Gage. That's Sin. That's Jokes. That's Coop. You guys are awesome. You're welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you. We'll see y'all on the floor. 1, 2, 3.